Welcome into Steelers Talk. I'm your host, Jack Sperry. We do have some breaking news today as the Pittsburgh Steelers and running back Jaylen Warren have agreed to terms on a 2-year contract extension to keep the running back here in Pittsburgh through the 2027 season. So that's 3 more years of Jaylen Warren and Caleb Johnson being this team's running back duo. Today I'm going to be breaking down the details that we do know surrounding this deal as it stands right now, what this means for the Steelers offense moving forward, and why I'm excited about the running back duo here in Pittsburgh for the foreseeable future. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button because actually just yesterday I put out a video on Jaylen Warren and why I believe he could be the breakout star for the Pittsburgh Steelers offense this year and can help take this offense to the next level. So if you guys want to check out that video, we put it out yesterday. Really extensive stuff surrounding Jaylen Warren, what he's done over the last several seasons, and I pretty much go over my entire reasoning for why I'm really excited about Jaylen Warren heading into this season. And now, guys, going into this year with this new contract extension, not having that cloud over his head here of just a 1-year contract, this really locks in the Pittsburgh Steelers starting running back duo for the foreseeable future here. Now, I do think to start the season, Jaylen Warren is going to be this team's RB1. And Caleb Johnson, honestly, is not going to get too much playing time to start the season. At least that's what I think. Pretty sure Jaylen is going to be getting most of the RB1 work, with Kenneth Gainwell getting a lot of the third down work. But as the season goes on, I do expect Caleb Johnson to get more and more and more time. We're hopefully, once we get into the postseason, we can get to kind of an ideal setup here for the Pittsburgh Steelers, where you have Caleb Johnson taking on the early down work, that sort of stuff, and then you have Jaylen Warren as probably arguably the best third down running back in the National Football League. But bringing in Jaylen Warren here, according to Ian Rappaport from NFL Network, the deal includes over $7 million for Warren this year, and it's going to be $12 million guaranteed over the 2 years of the extension. So, I think that this is a pretty darn good deal with what we know so far. All the details have not been released to this point, but with what we know about the contract right now, it's just over $7 million, which is kind of like Tony Pollard type of territory that we're talking about here. So not a super expensive contract for somebody that has been a top 10 most efficient running back in the National Football League since he entered as a UDFA out of Oklahoma State just 3 seasons ago at this point. It's crazy to think that Jaylen's already going into his 4th NFL season, but since entering in the 3 seasons he's been with the Pittsburgh Steelers, he's been number 2 in explosive run rate, number 6 in yards per carry, number 6 in yards after contact, number 6 in success rate. So he's been one of the best and most efficient running backs in the National Football League. And frankly, he's been the Steelers' best running back on this team for the last 3 years. Now, obviously, the Steelers would give much of the workload to Najee Harris because he was the bigger back. He was somebody that could deal out more punishment to opposing defenses. He's somebody that was a really good power back, that sort of thing. But Jaylen was certainly the explosive piece to the running back room. You go back to 2023, and he was pretty much inarguably the Steelers' best offensive player, at least from an efficiency standpoint. I mean, even on 3rd and 13, you could throw him a little screen pass. He could make a couple people miss and keep the drive alive, move the chains. And now he becomes your number 1 running back heading into the year, where Jaylen is so good in working wide zone concepts, which Arthur Smith loves to run. This is a big reason why the Steelers ended up moving on from Najee Harris this offseason, is because they have a high level of belief in Jaylen Warren's ability to be a number 1 running back in this offense. He's got terrific vision, he's got great quickness, and he's got really great instincts as a rusher out in space. So he knows how to make guys miss. He knows how to use his blockers to his advantage. And then he's really well built in his lower half, so he's got phenomenal contact balance. This guy does not go down easy, and because of that strength that he has in his lower half, it makes me think that he can handle the workload as a number 1 running back. This is something that I consistently hear about Jaylen, is that somehow there's this narrative that, because he's not as tall or he's not as physically huge as a guy like Najee Harris, for example, that he can't be a number 1 running back. But it's like we've seen guys like Austin Eckler, who's not the most built guy in the world, world be a number one running back. We've seen guys like Bucky Irving of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers be a number one running back last year. He's not the biggest back in the world either. And Jaylen Warren, you look at his skill set, and he is in extremely good shape. He is really well built in his lower half. He can make guys miss. He can power forward. He can do all the things that you want your number one running back to do, but he also brings that explosive element to the run game that the Steelers' run game has been missing over the last several years, with Najee Harris getting a lion's share of the touches. So I do think that the Steelers feel like Caleb Johnson, the rookie out of Iowa, is their future early down back, similar to the role that Najee has played in this offense in previous seasons. Obviously, bigger back, can maybe take a little bit more punishment, more of a heavier workload, etc. But, in the meantime, I have every confidence in the world that Jaylen Warren can take on that kind of workload. And then whenever Caleb Johnson is ready to take that quote-unquote early down role, Jaylen goes back to being arguably the best third down back in the National Football League. He's a terrific pass catcher. He's a weapon out on screens. He's also a terrific pass protector as well. So, I do expect Caleb Johnson to probably not be in the lineup too much, because he's not much of a pass catcher and he's not much of a pass protector at this point. But I also don't think, he has surpassed Jaylen Warren, at least not yet, in terms of earning those early down snaps. So I do think early in the season we're going to see Jaylen Warren on early downs, and he's going to be playing like a true RB1 type of role. Then we'll see Kenneth Gainwell rotate in as a third down option, and we'll see Caleb Johnson rotate in as an early down option when Jaylen needs a break. So, at the end of the day here, guys, I do think that Jaylen Warren, locking him into these next 3 years at this point is really, really smart, because if he goes out and he has just as efficient numbers as he has had over the last several seasons, only with a higher workload, he's going to be a top 10 running back in the National Football League this year, guys, and he's going to want to get paid like a top 10 running back. But getting this deal done before the season begins allows the Steelers to really lock in this running back duo for the next 3 years. They don't feel like they would have to overpay for Jaylen Warren if he has a really good season. If Jaylen pays off their faith here, they pretty much get like a top 10 running back in the National Football League at a bargain, and then you add on top of that potentially a really good running back on his rookie contract in Caleb Johnson, and you could have a super affordable, legit running back duo here in Pittsburgh for at least the next 3 seasons. And that is abundantly good news if you are a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, because as we've been discussing on this channel all throughout the offseason, the running back room and the run game in particular, and the Arthur Smith offense, is super, super important. If you don't have the run game, it completely crumbles the foundation of this offense. We saw it last year when this run game was just not, it was just not efficient. And, this year, I really do expect it to be different. It's looking like the offensive line is going to be taking a step forward this year. It's looking like Jaylen Warren is going to be getting a much higher percentage of the touches in the running back room this year, which I think is going to lead to more efficiency. And then I think Caleb Johnson will be more efficient and more explosive than Najee Harris was whenever Caleb does take over that early down role. So I'm very optimistic and very excited about the future of this Steelers run game. I can't wait to see what Jaylen Warren is going to do this year, guys. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already, because this week here on Steelers Talk, we're going to be doing a bunch of great stuff on the channel. Tomorrow, Steelers Talk Live, we're going to be doing our Week 1 preview, Steelers versus Jets. That's going to be a hell of a video, guys, so make sure you stick around. Click that subscribe button so you know when that comes out tomorrow. We also got a bunch of stuff coming up this week, injury updates, the latest trade rumors, all that stuff, guys. So make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already. I will see you guys later, and until next time, guys, here we go, Steelers.